Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Max&JuanCast NBA Free Agency Edition. Max, happy late 4th of July. How you doing, my
Happy
brother?
5th. I'm doing good. I had some freedom pupusas. It was awesome. Spent some
Some
really
what?
good time. Freedom papusa. You know what a papusa is?
Yeah. Well,
I had some
what's
freedom
freedom
ones.
about it?
I don't know. That's what this fool at my
What?
work was saying. So I was like, all right, I'll coin it. But no, I spent some time with the fam. Popped off some fireworks. All fingers intact. Shout out to that.
Shout out to JPP.
I wasn't gonna go there, but one did, guys. Good guy Max is in effect. No cursing this podcast. How you doing, one?
Man. I'm doing good, man. My 4th was cool. I ended up getting really bad sunburn, dude. My fucking shoulders are fucking toast.
Can I see him?
So,
wow, you didn't even let me see him. I'm trying to look.
I mean, it's red,
Ooh.
bro. I don't know if you can see that.
My farmer's tan was not a big hit on my sock line.
Sock line?
Yeah, not a hit during this trip.
I mean, I'm getting tanned up, man. My forehead is kind of burnt. I mean,
the hairline going a little back.
Hey, man, it's almost ending up like the Max special right there. But
that Caruso.
That Caruso. Hey, but welcome to the show, guys. If you guys are new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, comment down below as I fix my mic real quick. Free agency, dude. This is what this whole pod is going to be about. It's kind of sad, Max, because I feel like after this little KD drama goes somewhere, which we're going to get into, after this, there's really nothing for about 2 months. We're going to hit the dead period of sports. This is really the last like juicy stuff, unless the NFL wants to.
Unless you love baseball, it's kind of dry.
It is dry. I mean, baseball's cool, but I mean, it is like in the middle of the grind. So it's not really the same. Like people are already getting to a point where baseball is like, when the fuck is October gonna hit?
Yeah, they've already played too many games.
Yeah.
One, I don't know how to feel about free agency anymore. I feel like it used to be really awesome and you'd be like really excited, but just the agents and Woj and have just ruined it.
Isn't that so weird? I mean, I feel like
they're gonna punish the Knicks, right? But
yeah,
like that's where you draw the line. This is where, like all these other guys who's like PJ Tucker, who was signed like 6 days before free agency opened.
No,
I just don't get it. I just wish there was like a little bit more like mystery in the air. And I'm getting to a point with the NBA where like these guys are ridiculous, bro. They ask for too much money. The max contract, I think, is broken. And they're talking about how do we fix this in the next CBA? How do we fix guys demanding out? Well, it's never going to change because all these owners cave to the guys. And I mean, we'll get into it later, but I have some thoughts about some of these contracts. And I'm just like, why? Did Zion Williamson walk in with a 357 Magnum to your head and say, you can offer it or else? Right. I just don't get it.
I want to say the number of max contracts given out, all these players have amounted up to $1.2 billion given out. The NBA players are getting paid indeed. And it's not like the NFL where it's the top heavy. Like if you're elite talent in the NFL, you're going to get paid. Actually, I'll take that back. If you're not a premium position in the NFL, you're not going to get paid to the amount of these wide receivers and quarterbacks. In the NBA, you can be a low level player and you're going to get paid at least like max 10 mil, to be like a rotational player.
I feel like you're kind of thinking too old. I think that number's up to 15 million.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a whole list of just people who got paid like, just looking like Yusuf Nurkic. He's serviceable. He's getting paid like 15 to 18 million a year. And it's like, really? That's what we're going to bank on?
Right.
I mean, we did get some trades, which was cool. What really stood out to me was like a lot of guys re-signed. There was very few guys who left for the big money. And the one guy that did, I feel like, that team is just tortured by paying the wrong person at the wrong time.
Yeah.
So,
Well, let's go over some of the max signings. Okay, we'll
Okay.
start off there because it's a lot of shit, man. Free agency's been going on for about 3 days, so we're 3 days behind. I want to just list off these max players and whatever thoughts and opinions that we have, we'll shoot at it. So first one, Jokic re-ups with the Nuggets, get a max contract, five years, $264 million. Bradley Beal, 5 for 251. Zion, like you mentioned earlier, 5 for 231. Carl Anthony Towns, 4 for 224. Zach Levine, 5 for 215. Devin Booker, 4 for 214. John Morant, 5 years for 193. Darius Garland for the Cavs, 5 years, 193. And Freeney Simmons, your boy
Simon
from the
Anthony
Simons.
Simons. Yeah, it's not a max, but it's just ridiculous how much they
Yeah.
paid this guy. So
4 years for 100.
so which one sticks out to you? One like which ones are you like? Well deserved. I applaud. That's a good like contract for the team.
The obvious one is Jokic. I mean, you have to you have to give him the max contract, back-to-back MVP. That's a no-brainer. The one that sticks out to me that's super questionable, and this is why this organization should be stripped of their team, is the Wizards with Bradley Beal.
Okay.
It's so head scratching. We're kind of alluding to it before the pod, before we press record. Um, it's just a guy that you don't want to pay. And
Okay.
me and you
No.
were talking about it you kind of gave me the idea. You said Kemba Walker, who is like it's a little bit lesser of a scale. I know he's accomplished a lot more than Kimba,
Well,
but it is a good comparison.
let me tell everyone what we're talking about, right? When Kemba Walker was a free agent for Charlotte, his last year, the All-Star game was in Charlotte, and everyone was like, "Oh, just trade him, trade him." And Charlotte was like, "No, we're going to keep him to fill the seats." And when he hit free agency, me and you had this discussion: is Kemba Walker a max player? And I can't remember what you said. I think you were leaning more towards yes, or I was like, no, you don't pay this guy. And for those of you who don't know, max contracts in the NBA work off percentages. It's not like a number. It's not 5 for 100. It's just 25, 30, 35% of the cap. It just
Right.
depends. And sometimes guys who've been in the league for 10 years automatically get that 35%. So it just depends on where you're at. Like a first year player's max, unless they've hit some special like stats and stuff, isn't going to command the same as a 10-year player. So Kemba was in that like greatest tier. Same with Mike Conley. Remember when he got the record breaking deal? It wasn't
Yeah.
that he's not a max player, but is he a 35% of your team cap guy? Like Kemba, is Kemba that? No. And is Bradley Beal that? Absolutely freaking not. You just let the sorry. I'm not trying to curse. You don't just let the guy walk. What's the point? What's the point? Because this we've seen this too many times. Juan, when is this guy going to get untradeable? You gave it to Russ. Russ is making this much money. We can't trade him.
Right.
So when's Beal going to hit that? And it's like if you're paying someone $50 million a year, get me in the playoffs at least. Turn this thing around. Is Bradley Beal that? No, he's not. So
You know what though, Max? I think that's kind of like the worst thing about him is that I do think with Bradley Beal on their team and he's making max money on the Wizards and the amount of talent that they can form around him, their ceiling is what? The 6 seed, 7 seed? Yeah, they can be a playoff team, but that's the worst place to be in that 8th, 7th spot every single year because you're not even in the lottery and you're not competing for a championship.
Yeah.
You're in the middle. It's
unless
terrible.
you're prepared to like sit him out for a year to tank for Victor W from France. But I feel like once you get to this money range, Juan, 50 million for a guy, it really hampers your team. Because we could pull up a guy who we would say, oh, we love that max. Ja Morant, 5 for 193. That's fine. That's 40 million a year, but Ja's that special. It kind of restricts your team a little bit, but 50? It's just too much for a guy like Bradley Beal. This is a guy who, one, can't really stay healthy. Two, misses free throws in the biggest parts of the game. If for the Wizards fans, shout outs to Winston from Down Under. I just don't get it, Juan. Like everyone talks about, what if he walks? So what?
Let it be.
Let it be. Like, yeah, I get it. It sucks to lose the asset. Then trade him earlier.
Yeah.
They're going to say, you can't let him walk for nothing. Well, you could have traded him. Like, there were so many suitors for him this year, last year. It's for 2 years, man. It's talking about let's trade Bradley Beal one, and it's like you give the guy the money. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
And I know people are gonna argue like, hey, there's really no contract that's untradeable. I think John Wall and the Russell Westbrook deal kind of like shut that down. But it gets to a point where, like you said, the value is gonna go down.
Yeah, but like,
And it's
what's
one
the
of those
trade
things
one?
where
You're trading crap for crap at that point,
yeah,
and it's not really a trade. It's not like, wow, look at the Rockets benefit from this trade. Whoa, the Wizards really benefited from Wall. That
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's just you're not
yeah,
moving the needle anymore. It's like, here's your crap, here's my crap. It's still crap.
yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, man. And the Wizards are in this, they got their so-called star, and it's really Bradley Beal. Like, we're actually big fans of Bradley Beal. Honestly, we really are. But at the end of the day, he's not a Jokic. He's not a John Morant. He's not one of these players where he's gonna propel you to a championship and he's gonna be the main reason. He's not an alpha. He's a Robin. He's not a Batman. He's a great third option. Kind of iffy second option, but for him to be your first option, it's just not a good situation you want to be in. And this is why Washington continues to be one of these teams where it's poorly run. And it sucks. It sucks that one, Bradley Beal, a player like that, is not going to be able to move teams, at least for this year. And another team like the Wizards, who don't have a forward mind of thinking, is just like, oh, we got the money, let's pay for them. Everyone else does it. It's like, can't have that thinking, dude.
I 100% agree. One, if this was a 5-year, $150 million contract, I'd love it. I'd say, okay, let's build around Bradley. But I think these guys getting their head of, hey, I'm a max player. Hey, Bradley Beal's been in the league a really long time. He's
Yeah.
been in the league 8 years. He's made it like an all-star team or two. His max is just that high. And it's like, here's the best way to look at it. Bradley Beal's making slightly less than Jokic. Does Bradley Beal change a team like Jokic does? No, he doesn't. So he shouldn't be paid like Jokic. That's just my opinion. I think Bradley Beal's a hell of a player. I would love him in a Robin role on a team. I would love that. But to be the franchise cornerstone, I just don't think he's that. As simply put.
Yeah. And the other one that you mentioned, Zion. We're talking about Zion last podcast, and they did it. They signed him. I felt like it was more of a we don't know what we're doing kind of thing. Let's just do it. And scared to make a mistake. That's what this move looks like. It's like you said, Max. It's like if we trade this guy, we're gonna have to live with the results of fuck, dude. This shit might work out for another team, and it might be one of the worst trades in NBA history.
Give me the
Because that's how
pros of Zion Williamson right now. Like, what if you sign this deal to sell me on this deal?
okay. We have a great team around him.
Okay.
So if he is healthy, he's a missing piece that can get you pretty far into the playoffs.
Okay.
That's a positive.
Okay.
A second positive. I can't really think of one.
I would say,
honestly.
like,
I mean, you can't really say it's fluke.
Special player, wrecking
Yeah.
ball, stats, ceiling. But here's the cons. Has he ever been in shape in 3 years?
No.
Has he been healthy in those 3 years?
No.
Are we really going to commit to a guy who can't commit to coming into camp and being in shape and being a good teammate and just communicating with us?
And that's another con, Max, is simply, like, oh, he's a good locker room guy. Is he? I'm not saying Zion is toxic, but I mean, CJ McCollum kind of said it like Zion didn't really hit me up when I got traded here.
Well, no one
And
knew
it's
where
like,
he was, right? They're like, hey, go to
right.
Portland, go to Portland, rehab your foot. No one knows what's going on with him. He's coming, he's like, look how in shape I am. But it's like, you don't even look that good, dude. And this is not a bag on Zion. Zion's a great player. I wish him nothing but the best, but I just think this is a huge risk. and this is going to be the move. It's going to, and like I would say right now, it's got a 60% chance of failing. And that's not me trying to be a pessimist. That's just realistically, it's like you've been hurt every level. Now you're going to get healthy. This is the point. Like, and you're going to tell me Zion's really going to, can you, like, what could you sell me on that? Like, now you gave him the money, he's going to come into shape. He was playing for the contract and he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. So now he's going to do it now that are you just betting on maturity? Like, if you know the kid and you're like, you see a different side of him, I get it. But just the injuries alone, maybe one bad step and oh crap, his foot's messed up again. And
he's one injury away, Max, from being labeled like, okay, this guy's not going to work out. And like, then he's on the cliff of it.
How about this one? We don't even know what his game looks like. And I think I might have mentioned this. How can you say to Brandon Ingram, this isn't your team after what he's done? How do you say that to him? How do you feel? Oh, it's Zion's team.
Right.
Because it looks like Zion's a franchise guy. He's got the money. He's got the popularity. He's got the, prestige. But is he? Is Brandon Ingram really going to be like, hey, I just led this team to the playoffs without you?
Right.
That's not fair to him.
Yeah. And there's still time. They can still trade him. Okay. But they basically made that decision for a team that's willing to trade for him. They're like, all right, he's going to come with this max contract. You're going to have to pay him this money. It's scary. It probably takes a lot of teams off the trading list that would have traded for him. But it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. I don't think he's for sure going to be a Pelican. Anthony Davis proved that when he signed that deal. It means nothing. All these guys signing these deals don't mean anything. Probably the only one that's for sure is probably like Jokic, if I had a bet, and probably John Morant. But, even a guy like Devin Booker that's been in some trade rumors with the whole KD drama, and Karl Anthony Towns, another one, 4 years for $224. What do you think of that one?
I want to say that one from when we talk about the trade, because I think that's going to really connect, if that's okay. Yeah. Real quick, let's just hit on these three deals. I like LaVine to the Bulls. That's a lot of money for him, but can you really argue with it? The Bulls need to keep the team intact. Do we know what the Bulls look like? Because they lost so many guys last year.
No.
I would like to see that. So I like that deal. What about you?
I like it. Still on the I would still like them to move on from LaVine if they can get a better option. But for now, you keep them. Like, the Bulls were on a roll when this team was healthy. And for sure, like, you have the recipe to do it. And it's completely warranted. If Chicago was telling me right now, you know what? I know we can probably get an upgrade as a player, but we love what we've seen when we're healthy. And we really want to run that back. There's no problem with that. I think that run that they had during the season, it's warranted to run it back again with the same group, because that's how good they were.
Yeah, and then, it sucks that Lonzo got hurt for a big stretch. Caruso, Patrick Williams. Let's see this team at full strength, and LaVine could still get a little better. He could get better,
and he's improving, Max.
Yeah, he's getting better. He's young.
Yeah, he's young, and he's trying to level out the whole alpha thing with him and DeRozan. I do think DeRozan was like the perfect match with him. But I'm liking LaVine's as far as his growth in his game. I'm loving it.
I like it too.
Devin Booker.
I think this one's a little puzzling, because off the top, you're going to be like, this guy, he's really worth it. But let's just say, before Chris Paul got there, and this is no Devin Booker slander, they couldn't win. They were kind of a mess, not all his fault. So Chris Paul's at the end. Year or two left. So if you're giving the keys to Booker, but I feel like Booker might be gone in a couple of years, because this team might quickly evaporate around him. Ayton's pretty much on the move, everyone thinks.
Yeah.
Give Paul 1 or 2 more years, and then you're left with Bridges, Payne. It's just going to be kind of hard once you're locked in. Maybe a slight overpay, but I'm not mad at this deal. If you're Suns, you kind of have to do it, because you're still in the window technically.
And I think he does. He earned it, in my opinion. I feel like these last 2 years of him being on this team, he's absolutely deserved it, and he's came up big in big moments. And like I said, just because you pay these guys, it's not going to mean that he's going to be in Phoenix for 4 years. He deserves to get paid. He's a top 10 player in my opinion. Uh, Not much to say there, but John Morant, Grizzlies. What
I
about
think
that one?
Ja and Darius Garland are like the exact same thing to what they mean to their
Yeah,
team. They're
no
the young
brainers.
guns. It's going to be interesting to see if they can build a contender around them. I feel like both teams are kind of like the Grizzlies are a little bit ahead of the Cavs, but the Cavs are funky. They have Mobley, who could be probably better than Jaren Jackson, and Jaren Jackson's going to miss the next 6 months. Juan, sprain like
Yeah,
bad foot. So I feel like, I mean, at what point we were talking about Zion? At what point do we just punt on Jaren Jackson?
yeah,
And it's not a talent thing; it's just a foot thing. Because you have Morant, we know he's the leader, but where's his Robin? His Robin's supposed to be Jaren Jackson. If he can't be on the court, it's kind of just damn. What do the Grizzlies have? The Grizzlies love the deal. Ja means a lot to that team. Darius Garland, same thing. They're
Right.
both worth it. It's not that much money in retrospect. Would you rather have Ja for 193 or Beal for 254, 251,
Right.
whatever? 60 million difference. A plus all the way. Extend your guys. Homegrown talent all the way.
Yeah. I want to go over really just one more. Lou Dort for the Thunder, 5 for 87.5 mil.
So you're just betting
Thoughts
he's
on
going to
Lou
learn how to
Dort?
shoot, right? That's what they're betting on. Because I mean, he shot like the same last year. I'll look it up, but I'm almost certain.
You know what though, Max? I think at this point you kind of know who he is. He's one of these players where the offense it's not going to get that much better. You're kind of just like, hey, whatever we get with the offense, we'll take it. But I think him on what he does on the defensive end and the price market that he's at 87.5 mil, I think it fits him perfectly. I don't think there's nothing wrong with this contract. He's a young guy. The Thunder are looking to win in about maybe 2 years to 3 years. I like the deal. I don't have no problem with it.
I like it too, man. He deserves it. I remember the first time we saw him in the bubble just locking up Harden. We were like, oh my God, who is this guy? It's good he got his money. If he finds his 3-point shot, say he develops into that, he's going to be such a huge asset for them. He'll probably net them like 6 first-round picks.
Yeah,
most
definitely.
Really quick one. Let's just hit on 2 more, and these are intertwined. Anthony Simons, Blazers, 4 for 100. Nurkic, 4 for 70. So they're just like fucking. I'm sorry. They're just competing, right? They're just like, okay, we got this winner built. We're CJ, you're gone. We got Simons, same problems as always. We added Jeremy Grant who can defend. I just don't get this, man. Just blow it up. Get rid of Dame. He doesn't fit with the timeline in Nurkic. It doesn't fit.
Yeah. These are, you know what? I wouldn't have had a problem with this Simons pick, but the Nurkic one, that one, it's like there was no need to pay him, and that was all I needed to see of him paying him, of the Blazers paying him. That they're in with Dame, like they're trying to win right now, and it goes back to like on our draft recap on why I think that pick was dumb. Like they're just all over the place. This team is not built to win right now. Damian Lillard coming off an injury. The roster is not all that good. I feel like they don't have all the right pieces. Yeah, Chauncey Billups, question mark. Like I don't know what the Blazers are doing.
And Nurkic, 56 games, 37 games, 8 games.
Yeah,
that's not what you want to see.
Exactly. It's just all around, just very head scratching. I like the Bobby Portis re-sign for the Bucks.
The Bucks kept their team intact.
Yeah.
They got better. They added Joe Ingles, who can be big if he comes back healthy.
Yeah.
And I like what the Celtics did. The Celtics added Danilo Gallinari for nothing.
Yeah.
And they got Malcolm Brogdon, which isn't like the name sounds better than what he is because he's been injured a lot, but I feel like he could have the best year because, hey, you don't have to start anymore. You have to play 25 minutes a game. No problem. We'll take it easy. We'll keep you healthy. They got him for nothing. They really got him for nothing. You got him for a first-round pick down the road. You're in the
Yeah.
window. This is what contending teams do. You take a swing.
Yeah. And Brad Stevens, I think it was highway robbery with this one for getting Malcolm Brogdon. Um, yeah, they gave up a first round pick, like you said, but it was basically nothing. Daniel Theis and Aaron Neesmith, like they didn't give up one rotational player, like
No,
nobody.
yeah,
And
a first this year, a first this
yeah,
like next year. Sorry, next year. So Celtics aren't going to be bad unless some like tragic injuries.
right.
So Juan, we've hit like all the re-signings. I think there's only one guy who got signed we should really talk about, and I alluded to it earlier. The Knicks were like, you know what? We don't want any of these top tier stars. They don't want us. We'll just go get Jalen Brunson for 4 years, $104 million.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Jalen Brunson, good player. Just, I don't. What is this? How does this really help the Knicks? Like, unless you're planning Jalen Brunson to be your like second star when you trade for KD or somebody, I don't get it.
Yeah. It's head scratching, and I want to start it off like how you did, like nothing towards Jalen Brunson. I understand how good he is. I know he had a really good playoffs for all the Knicks fans out there and all the NBA fans out there who automatically start this off like, oh, well, you obviously don't watch Jalen Brunson. I've watched Jalen Brunson, solid player. Is he a difference maker though? I don't think so. Not for the Knicks. And to me, if you're talking yourself into this Jalen Brunson pick, you're trying to get the production from the Knicks of 2 seasons ago when they made the playoffs. Like Julius Randle, to me, it was a lucky year that he had.
Like
An
the
amazing
stars
year.
aligned. The stars aligned for the
Right.
whole team, and especially him. And I mean, I'm all in team lefty. Randall, Barrett, and Brunson. I love lefties.
Yeah.
It's just I don't think Randall's gonna be the guy. And
Right.
I do like Barrett. I like Barrett and Brunson, the backcourt. I think that's fun. That's exciting.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of money to pay for a guy who's never made an all-star team and probably never will. And we kind of know what he is. He's like a solid secondary ball handler, jack of all trades, does a lot good. But what's he do great?
Yeah. Nothing. He does everything really good.
You know, I will say this: if you're devil's advocate, you're saying, you know, he's had to play next to Luka. He never got his chance. Really, he did do some good stuff when he got hurt.
Yeah.
But this move just reeks of the Knicks. It's just
Yeah.
like, hey, we struck out big. We're going to try to get this other guy instead of just kind of keep building what we have. And then they did the weird draft day thing where they're like, hey, let's get 3 non-lottery picks for a lottery pick. Let's just do it.
Yeah. It's head scratching.
Sorry, Knicks fans. I know it's been hard.
Yeah. I get it though. Like Knicks fans are gonna try to talk themselves into this one, and I just refuse not to because this roster is just it's not as good as people thought. Like you said, the stars aligned 2 seasons ago. Julius Randle had a great year, but they still need a lot of work on their roster, and they need a star. Julius Randle is not a star.
They have a lot of
He's
twos.
simply not.
And if
Yes.
Barrett takes a huge leap, I like this move
Yep.
a lot more, no doubt.
Mhm.
But I don't know how much better it can be. He's gotten better every year, but a superstar like Luka Doncic type of guy, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Another signing what the Blazers did. They signed Gary Payton the second.
That'd be fun.
Shout out to Gary Payton on a side note. 3 years for $28 million. This is a guy that was trying to apply for the film director in Golden State at one point because he got cut so many times and he just wanted to be in the organization still, just be around. Absolutely insane. Shout out to Gary Payton, dude. Well deserved.
I've
I just
never
don't like the team.
thought he was bad. I've never understood why more teams didn't give him a chance.
Yeah.
And good job to him, man. You deserve every bit. You deserve all the fanfare you get. You got your ring.
Yeah.
And hopefully you have a secure home in the NBA for a good while because you deserve it, man.
Yeah. I don't like the fact he went to the Blazers. It was just like, yeah,
I'll never see him again, but it'll be nice because you know what does Portland need more of? Small guards.
Yeah. Who else? Marvin Bagley.
Yeah, that was weird. Is there like a huge Marvin Bagley? I mean, that's like a bust, like resurrection project. I think that'll be cool if he works out. I mean, why not take the gamble? It's a little bit more than I thought he'd get, but at the same time, the Lakers are paying Lonnie Walker their mid-level exception for no reason. Just makes no sense. Sorry to make it a Laker thing. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense that these guys are getting this much money.
We'll definitely have some Laker talk in this one. But Gary Harris to the Magic. Magic are trying to be one of the biggest teams and trying to play some defense out here, I guess.
I guess, dude. I don't know what the Magic could do. Magic are tanking for Victor. We need another 7-footer. Let's do it.
Warriors signed DiVincenzo. I like DiVincenzo, but they lost a lot of guys, honestly, like Gary Payton and who was the other guy that they lost out on? They lost one more guy besides Otto Porter.
Went to the Raptors. I mean, they could lose more guys, but they've also have guys in the waiting that we don't know how good they are. So
exactly,
you can't really be too mad at them.
Is that all the actual signings?
Yeah, those are guys who moved to teams. I liked a lot of it. There's a few, it wasn't really big. There wasn't a lot of guys who left, but the trades absolutely were shocking. And I mean, there's one trade. I think Utah is just, I mean, look, so it started with Royce O'Neal, right? Yeah. Gets traded to the Nets for a first-round pick. You're like, that's a weird trade for both teams. Right. And then Minnesota picks up the phone and was like, hey, you guys, the Rudy Gobert fellas for sale? We can take him? Well, this guy's free. We can trade for him?
It's your boy, though, Max.
I mean, I've punted on Rudy Gobert in recent years. I loved what he meant early on, but then when he starts making $50 million, it's not really worth it. So the Jazz trade Rudy Gobert to the Wolves for Malik Beasley, Patrick Beverley, Walker Kessler, Leandro Palermo, Jared Vanderbilt. Don't know why he was included, but they also get a first-round pick in 2023, 2025, 2027, 2029, and a swap in 2026. Why?
And they're all protected.
Go ahead, Juan. I'll save my thoughts. Go ahead.
It was jaw-dropping. I can't believe a guy like Rudy Gobert went for this amount. The Wolves are all in.
But do you like it? Do you love it? Are you gonna like?
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I don't like the ceiling for it.
Okay, so if you don't hate it, because I hate it. Like I want to throw up. So explain to me what there is to like about this move.
I think Cat it can work with him and Cat because Cat can be on the perimeter and he's a softie as it is. He can spread the floor. The one guy that it's a question mark for is honestly Anthony Edwards. And Anthony Edwards, as much improving as he's been from shooting the ball, I just think he's such a special player when he drives to the hole. And
don't steal my point. Don't you dare steal my point. I texted you. How much do you think Anthony Edwards is going to love driving into the paint with Rudy Gobert in front of the basket?
Yeah. And that's the scary part. But I do think it can work in the regular season. Like I feel like they're going to be the new Jazz.
Why trade like 8 picks for the 4 seed? Like here's what's going to happen. They're going to look great. Rudy Gobert blocking shots. Right. He'll hit 1-3. The Cat helped him work on his shooting stroke. Whatever bullshit's going to come out. Curse number 2. Sorry. Here's what I don't get. What was the market for Rudy Gobert? Cat and him are going to be making $50 million each for a league that's like, hey, the center position's really, you don't really have to put a lot of money into it.
Yeah.
Look at the centers for like the last 6 finals teams other than the Lakers. Not really that impressive. But let's double down. And so Rudy Gobert is going to protect the basket. What's Cat going to do? Cat's going to just, because Cat's this nimble Jaren Jackson type guy who can move on the perimeter. No, not really. There's like a million reasons not to do this before you think about the basketball aspect, though, which I don't get.
No. It can work though, Max. And
no, I really don't think it can, unless you're telling me Cat is now Dirk Nowitzki, and this is Tyson Chandler reincarnate. And this
I
is what
think
this team's going to be.
I think a lot of games have to be improved, especially Anthony Edwards, with him being the majority of the ball handler. Improve shooting, and I do think there's a world where Cat can be somewhat of that, and it can work. The thing that gives me issues is like during the playoffs where the floor shrinks and it's all about matchups and what's going to happen where they have to play small ball. And it's like Rudy Gobert has to come out. And I just have a big problem when you have to bench a guy like Rudy Gobert and all that salary is going to him. If you're making all that money, we want you playing. It's like the front office with Frank Vogel last year with Russell Westbrook. It's like people caught a heart attack because he wasn't playing them. And it's like, why are we playing this guy? Well, he's making all this money, so we have to play him. And that's the thing with Rudy Gobert. Like, are the Wolves going to have the balls to bench a guy for certain series when he's making all this money?
And that's exactly why, to me, you don't do this trade. You don't want to get a guy who, one, you don't have a lot of good defenders on the Wolves to start with anymore. You have a Kogi. I think Kogi might be gone. I'm sorry. But let's just say here's the lineup, right? You have Cat, Edwards, Gobert, Jaden McDaniels, and let's say Russell.
Yeah.
You have two good defenders on the perimeter and Russell and McDaniels. And Edwards and McDaniels. You're kind of looking like the Jazz where you only have two good defenders and now everyone else is going to drive by and blow by and then kick to the corner and Gobert's stuck in cement.
Yeah.
And that's what I just don't like about this deal. It just doesn't like, so you just traded him to just fix the rim numbers so he can perfect the basket. But I feel like Gobert is the type of guy where you bring him in, he fixes one problems and he opens up Pandora's box for a new set. He's not a guy like Bam who can do both. You're not worried about Anthony Davis when he's on his game, who can really just change a defense. Gobert is a one-trick pony who I love to death, who I was on in 2012. I'm like, this guy's going to be good.
Yeah.
But at this point, he's a double-sided sword. He'll help you, but he's going to hurt you too at the same time.
Like, their defense is going to be elite with him. It really is. That's how good
I
Rudy
think
Gobert
it will be
is.
elite, but at the back of everyone's mind, we know what happens when he's on an elite defense and the game matters.
Yeah. Like, he's not a good post-up player. He's not a good free throw shooter.
And is that why you trade for him? And so I think the money's ridiculous. He's going to make $15 million. Yeah. That's what really kills me about this deal. And I kind of like the comp to the Mavericks, but I don't know if first of all, Cat's not Dirk, where he can just catch the ball in the post and just shoot over and play this little high-low game. And second, I think basketball's evolved to the point where that's not really feasible anymore.
Mm-hmm. That in-between game.
Yeah, and Cat doesn't even really have that.
He doesn't.
You said is really good to help Gobert stretch the court. But then you're saying, oh, Cat's just a spot-up shooter. Why are we paying him $50 million just to spot up and shoot?
Yeah. It's crazy. I can't believe I was
it's
shocked.
A gamble. And we don't even talk about how many picks was Gobert really worth this many picks?
And the amount of I just think like you would think, Max, the amount of money that you're paying this guy, and he went for that much, like that has to be put into the account. Like, dude, we're already gonna be paying this guy a lot. Like, why do you guys want all these first round picks? It's absolutely insane. I would have, like you said, I would have loved to know like what was the market for this guy? Who was another team going so hard for him? And to me, it seems like the Wolves just blew him out of the water. Like, of offer that you could not refuse. That's what this was.
It was Carmelo from like the Knicks offer. It was an Anthony Davis to the Lakers offer.
Yeah,
it was that crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Kyrie
to see,
Irving, after his peak in Cleveland, didn't go for this much.
Yeah.
I can't believe this trade. I hate it. I don't think it's going to work. You can check back in with us in 6 months when they're getting bounced in the first round and Gobert's on the bench. And we're like, why did we do this deal?
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. And like the Utah Jazz, people are gonna love it in the regular season, but at the end of the day, what do we all play for, folks? Championships
Regular
in the playoffs,
divisional banners.
divisional
No,
banners. Oh man, Timberwolves. They're. I tell you one thing, man. They're gonna be fun to watch.
it'll
And
be awesome to see Rudy Gobert
shout
collect
out,
this Defensive Player
shout
of the
out
Year
to the Wolves,
trophy.
man.
Yeah, shout out to Juan's Gobert jersey he's secretly wearing. It'll be dope to see
Oh
Gobert in the
man,
first round, like get the applause when he gets his Defensive Player of the Year trophy, and then the
right.
fans turn on him after that game.
And it's so funny. Did you hear the comments like before what Anthony Edwards said about him?
Oh, about how he don't scare nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta love that. I mean, Gobert's a weird duck. I feel like this is the writing on the wall. Utah's about to blow it up. They want the younger, better version of Gobert and the French guy Victor.
Yeah.
So
As they
be on
should.
the lookout for Utah to trade Donovan Mitchell. I know they're going to keep him as the franchise cornerstone, but you guess what, guys? Teams lie all the time.
Right.
For 2 months, they said Harden was going to stay in Brooklyn. They're not going to trade him. Oh, here he goes. 76ers, Ben Simmons, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know?
I seen the writing on the wall for Donovan Mitchell. I was talking about this on. I think it was the pod that you're sick, but I was talking about it. Like Donovan Mitchell needs to get out of Utah, and the writing's on
New
the wall now.
York.
Yeah, New York. Would he fit in New York with Brunson?
Yeah.
Would you like
Why
that?
not? Why not?
No.
Couple
And
of
you get your any way to get your superstar.
yeah, it don't matter who. I feel like Donovan
Yeah.
Mitchell's going to be like the lowest tier superstar. It's like
Yeah.
he's like a level above Randall, but it's still not like. Do we really want him?
Right.
I
And
like Donovan Mitchell, man. I feel like we sound negative, but it's just like you got to look at this through both lenses, man. Sure, you get a player, but at what cost?
right. This is it's crazy that Rudy Gobert went for that much.
Yeah.
Hawks, Kevin Herter went to the Kings for Justin Holiday, Mo Harkless, and a future first. Thoughts on the Kings getting Kevin Herter?
I mean, he helps. You have a Buddy Hield replacement, Red Velvet. He'll help. I just don't get why the Hawks would trade him unless they don't want to pay him in a year and you're just trying to get something back. Holiday solid, Harkless is solid, and I guess a first round pick can be fun. It's like a B for both. I mean, it's like a B minus. I don't know why if Atlanta's going all in, why you do this. And I feel like he's good insurance for DeAndre Hunter who can't stay healthy.
Yeah. On the flip side of that, the Hawks winded up getting DeJounte Murray and Jock Londell.
Doesn't matter. I think they have DeJounte Murray now. I like it.
Yeah. For Gallinari, who wound up getting bought out and not on the Spurs no more, and a 2023, a 2025, a 2027 first round picks and a pick swap in 2026. This is a lot for DeJounte Murray, and the Spurs the last couple seasons, basically ever since Tim Duncan has retired, they haven't been the same old Spurs, and
Kawhi was like
yeah.
a big car accident they got in,
right?
That
but
set them back.
Even with the whole draft process, like I know people love to say like the Spurs have been great drafters, but I think even you checked me on this, like they haven't really been drafting that good over the past couple seasons. But I love a move like this because it's forward thinking. It's like DeJounte Murray, he's really good, right? He's an all-star, like breakout player, really good player. But this is where you sell high on a player.
He's cheap too.
Yeah, he's cheap.
17
and you sell a year early. They're not going to wait for this guy's trade value to go down or when we pay him like max money.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the time to do it. And I applaud the Spurs for doing a move like this because it's moves like this that separate the good organizations that are well run and the bad ones. Like these are the moves you have to make.
If I'm an Atlanta Hawk fan, this is how I'm going to sell this trade to you. One, we got our Klay Thompson. Like that's what we're kind of trying to do. Trae Young, for lack of a better comparison, to Steph Curry. And now we need a defensive guy who can kind of shoot a little bit. And obviously he
Yeah.
can't shoot like Clay, but Clay can't create like him. But this is what the kind of tricky part one. Trae Young is so ball dominant. I wonder if they're gonna let DeJounte. I feel like you kind of have to. I feel like you're doing a disservice to yourself if you're like, okay, DeJounte Murray, just go stand in the corner, start shooting threes. Because you immediately, guys, be prepared for 21, 9, and 8 from Murray to go down to like 16 and a half, maybe 8 and 4. The way they play, unless they're trying to change their whole style, is really Trae Young centric. And John Collins has been disgruntled with it. And I hope DeJounte Murray can kind of change that a little bit where, hey, I'm more of a passer and Trae Young can play off of me. Maybe we start running Trae Young off screens, let DeJounte initiate the offense. And he's a perfect defensive like partner for Trae. He can take the tough guard matchup, and he's going to every night.
I just want to say this little nugget about DeJounte Murray too. That was scary. That playing game was ugly by him. That performance that he had, it was. I thought it was very ugly. I would be kind of worried about that if I'm a Hawks fan, but
that's why he's second fiddle now, bro.
Exactly,
or third fiddle.
Exactly. So he doesn't have all that pressure on him. But the Hawks reload him with DeJounte Murray.
Do you like it?
I like it. I like it because you have a guy that can guard the best guard to guard guy in DeJounte, and you're not so worried about Trae Young getting cooked 24/7.
If DeAndre Hunter's healthy, you have a really flexible team defensively. So you can basically say, hey, Trae Young, just go grab the shitty guy. Don't worry about it. We have two guys who can kind of erase really good perimeter players, which is nice that they haven't really had that.
Yeah. I really love it for both sides.
I do too. I think San Antonio was proactive for a change instead of being like, hey, we're going to get screwed in this trade package like they did with Kawhi.
Yeah. Exactly. So let's talk about this next part, Max. Hopefully we don't have to cut this whole part out. Because KD, as of right now, and Kyrie Irving are both still technically Brooklyn Nets. But we have to talk about this. Kevin Durant has officially asked for a trade. His top destinations, Suns and the Heat, as far as we know. Kyrie supposedly is the top target for the Lakers, but
please,
you've been hearing all kinds of bullshit because
reunite KD and Russ. I'm in here. I'm here for
it. So let's get into some of the trade ideas that you have for Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving. Let's just talk about it.
Well, this one, I feel like this one's been reported. I don't know if I came up with it, but we've been thinking about this for so long. Kyrie and Joe Harris for Russ, Taylor Horton-Tucker, Kendrick Nunn, and 2 first-round picks. Joe Harris is a bad contract. He barely played last year. We don't know what he is. Even when he played, he was missing a lot. Yeah. And people think Westbrook, you have taken all that money. He's an expiring deal. Big deal. You only pay him for 1 year. It's not 3 years of the guy. You're paying $10 extra million and you're getting off Harris, who's like 15. No big deal. I think the Nets, obviously, you're just kind of playing for those picks. If this trade happens, KD's gone too. So I feel like if KD's domino falls, Kyrie's going to fall in. If you're the Nets, you don't really want Westbrook with KD. I don't think that's like KD going to bring KD back to a sense like, I want to stay here. I already tried to leave this guy once. Here he comes. But, Russell Westbrook and Ben Simmons, that could be fun. Not a lot of shooting. It could be fun, though. But, that's the most realistic Kyrie trade for the Lakers. And let's be real. There's no market for Kyrie. Kyrie is alienated in himself. He has no value. He's a good player when he's on the court. He's better than Russ. And Russ makes too much damn money. And he's just such a big, he's like Tebow. He's just such a media presence. He MFs everybody. He scowls, but he's just a problem, man. He's just a problem in the locker room. And he's really unhappy. He talks crap to the media. So I like this is kind of like, here's your trash, here's my trash. Let's kind of try to bring him back in a way. What do you think?
Do I want Kyrie Irving on the Lakers? Obviously, yes, I would.
Do you want Russell
Um,
Westbrook gone?
yes, I would like Russell Westbrook gone, but it's a show, bro. Like I feel like the only one who wants Kyrie Irving is LeBron, in
Yeah.
my honest opinion. I think he's the single soul that wants him. I don't think Palinka wants him. I don't think Jeannie Buss wants him. And that's a problem because we're going to see who really has the stronghold over this organization. I don't know if you've seen it, Max, but this weird tweet that Jeannie Buss put out talking about how, oh, Kobe was a team player and we never had this problem with him. He understood the end goal here of being a great teammate. And I don't know what that has to do with the Lakers right now. Like it's a question mark. Like, why did you have to tweet that? Is she talking about LeBron? Is she talking about Kyrie? Like, what is it exactly? And
I don't know,
I
man.
just
It's really
it's a
weird.
shit
It's
show.
weird. Yeah.
Like
I mean,
it,
look,
it
I
really
think
is.
for the right package, everyone would be interested in swapping Russ. Like if it was Russ for Kyrie straight up, do it. But the Lakers are
Yeah.
like, how many more future assets can we sink into a team we don't really think can win a championship? So unless you see AD like coming in the greatest shape of his life, like just then do the trade. Go all in for it. What's one more pick? You already screwed a little bit. Let's get screwed. If you're in for $1, might as well be well in for $100. No problem.
Right.
But this whole trade where they were talking about Kyrie and KD for AD, that's not happening. There's no way.
I think KD coming to the Lakers is complete bullshit.
LeBron, he's played second fiddle. He had a Sports Illustrated cover. He's like, I'm tired of being number 2. I was the second pick in the draft. I was second to LeBron in MVP voting and lost them in the finals. He took it personally when they played in the finals with the Golden State. He kicked LeBron's butt, or he went pound for pound shot for LeBron, whatever. He eyed him up in 2 straight finals, said, hey, I'm the best. I'm top dog. And then, if you're another team in the East, if you're the Nets, if you're the 76ers, I don't think that's an option. But if you're the Heat, maybe. But you have to include Bam in the trade one because you can't have if Ben Simmons, you have to swap Ben for Bam because you can't have both on the same team because they're both rookie designated guys. And then if you're going to Toronto, you really want to give up Scotty Barnes for KD at this stage?
No way.
Like if you give me
Not worth it.
Pascal and OG and Boucher and a first, yeah, I'll give you KD. But I mean, I like all those guys. I kind of like if they could get KD for pennies on the dollar. If it's Van Fleet and like 5 picks, I do it.
No.
I would do it. But I don't really love the notion of blowing up my team for KD. I think he's kind of stuck unless the Grizzlies wanted to get frisky and say, hey, Jaren Jackson, we love the guy, but look at him. Is he ever healthy on? No. Is he risky? Yeah. So let's go. Let's trade Jaren. Let's trade Brooks. Let's throw in 3 picks. We've accumulated a bunch of picks. Steven Adams, whatever. Let's go get KD. KD, Ja, Desmond Bain. That could be fun. I would like that.
And you bring up the Grizzlies. I think the Grizzlies and honestly the Thunder make a lot of sense for KD to go there because the Nets are not going to want players, Max. They're not looking for players. They're looking for picks here.
They're only looking for young building block players.
Right.
Like if they were like Shea, oh yeah, we'll take Shea.
Exactly.
But why would the Thunder throw in Shea? What's the point?
Yeah. I just think that the Thunder can have some type of way of getting them. They have so many picks. They have a lot of assets on them, even if it means moving off a guy like Chet Holmgren, who, by the way, killed it in his first summer league game. That's besides the point. I just think those two teams have so many assets that they can still give away and still compete with KD. All these other places, they're going to want more. They're going to have to demand more. Phoenix already said, like, we don't want to get rid of Devin Booker.
Yeah, they doubled down.
Nets
they extended him too, so it's not happening.
Right. And the Nets, on the other hand, are like, no, we're not. You're not going to Phoenix, and we're going to have to get at least Devin Booker back. And then when you said with the Heat, with Bam, like Bam needs to be in the deal. All these other teams that are in that little spot right here where they were competing last year, and they have a lot of cap restructure and cap space, all that bullshit. It's gonna be hard.
I
That's
would
why
have
it
if
makes
Portland
sense.
got aggressive and went for him on. Portland really made a push, kept
Yeah,
Dame. If they were
yeah,
like, here's Jeremy, here's Shadon Sharp, here's whoever else they could throw in there, whoever's exciting they want, like Nas Little, whatever. But
yeah,
here's the thing too, one, this isn't the same when AD got traded. AD was what, 26 when he got traded? Okay, he's
yeah.
33. He's old.
But he's aging gracefully.
He no, it's not about that. I'm just saying if this happened 5 years ago, every team would be in the KD
right.
race. But right now, some teams are like, it does not really fit. It's not really fit our cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be teams out there like Detroit. It's like, what's the point if we get KD? We'll be gutted.
Another team that would be interesting, and you can get like the most bang for your buck. But I just truly feel like one, KD doesn't want to go there, and two, this team will never do this. But KD to Boston for Jalen Brown and some picks, as simple as that.
I would do
You
that.
get, yeah, exactly. But I don't think KD wants to play there. I just flat out think he doesn't want to play for Boston, and Boston doesn't want him. But KD, in a sense, it's like going on him on a personal level. Like, I'm just kind of tired of it, man. Like, what else can you ask for the Nets? They gave you all you fucking wanted, bro. Everything. They paid you, and you
They
weren't even
signed
going to
your
play the
boy.
first year.
They signed your
Yeah,
boy.
they signed all your homeboys, everyone that you wanted. They went all in for a trade for fucking James Harden, your boy, and you're involved in all the personnel decisions. You're the one who picked the head coach. I don't care what anyone says. You approved the Steve Nash hiring. Like, what
Do you
else do
think
you
this
want?
is KD? The Nets failed KD, or kind of KD put his eggs in some baskets and some guys let him down? Like,
Yeah,
if you're KD, how do you not feel like Kyrie let you down? How do you not feel like James Harden let you down? And it would be
these are
foolish
guys
for
he
him to.
picked, though.
Yeah, that's his pick. So, the Nets maybe have 20% of the blame, but I would say not necessarily KD himself, but the kind of the bed you made by asking these guys to come here is what doomed the team. And yeah, there was some
Yeah,
bad luck. Your big toes on the line.
right.
Um, Harden gets hurt, but I mean, he was going to flop anyway. We already saw him flop like his whole career.
Yeah,
And Kyrie was like, "Hey, I don't want to play." Kyrie and him played 44 games together in 3 years, basically 2 years. You've played 44 games. That's not cutting it. Last year, the
you
way you
know,
guys went out was embarrassing, and it's just you've made your bed, bro. And I get, like, if you request a trade, I understand you want out, I get it. But if you start acting like a diva, if you quit on the team like James Harden, I will have a big problem with KD. If he goes about his business, if he plays hard, you can see him really trying, and I understand. That's cool. Am I wrong? Am I crazy? There's a way you can request a trade, and I won't be mad at you. I get it. But if you start like tanking your way out of town, that's when I have a problem with it, because that's Harden was in the same situation with Houston. They did everything for him, and he treated them by not showing up, coming to camp out of shape and fat, and being a cancer when he was on the court.
I'm just kind of over it, man. Like, I'm kind of over the whole, like, all these players requesting trades and fucking, it doesn't
He
matter
has
if
like
you're
3 years on his
signed.
deal left. What's like? How can you like? What leverage do you have, bro?
Yeah, it's just it's exhausting to me. It
How
really
can
is.
he not go to the team and quietly request a trade? How has it become public so fast?
Yeah,
Like, so either KD leaked it, which I'm guessing he did, to
yeah,
Shams
for
or
sure.
Woj or whatever. If you go about it quietly and say, "Hey, I want to trade," and they're like, "Okay, if you handle your business, we'll honor your request."
Yeah,
I understand that, but just to make it a public thing, and I feel like that's a leverage against the Nets. Everyone knows KD wants out.
yeah,
It's just it's sad to see how much power the NBA player has. I'm all for player empowerment, but this is ridiculous when you're trying to, and it's not, he hasn't done it yet, but Harden had 3 years on his deal left, and he
yeah,
blew his way out of Houston, like middle
yeah.
fingers up to them.
Yeah. Harden's the absolute like lowest of the lows. when it comes to stuff like this. And it's funny that you say how many games Kyrie and KD played with each other. You know who has more games played with each other? Nash
Every
and Kobe. They have more games played than
Are you
those two.
kidding me? How many
No,
more? Like 5 more?
uh,
Like 10 more?
I
20?
think it's a good amount.
That's
I
crazy.
remember. I
That was
remember I
a
heard it somewhere.
terrible.
I was shocked.
I wonder how many games that whole like team played together with like Powell, Kobe, and Dwight and Nash. That had to be like 8 games together or something ridiculous. I mean, I can't think of a duo that's played less together.
No, and it's an epic meltdown of the Nets. We'll see where it goes. The KD saga. This is the last. Kyrie and KD are the last domino of the sports world having some interest right now. But I'm kind of over it. I really am. Like with all these players fucking crying about to go different places and whining and crying their way out of
It's
situations.
crazy how you can sign a 5-year contract and in year 2 you're demanding and you get to pick where you go.
Yeah,
And it's never going to change till a GM says, "You know what? I'd rather just torture you by having you stay here for 4 years." Like if I was Houston, I would have never traded James Harden. I would have said, "You know what? You want to be a baby? Whatever." I would remember when the Eagles had TO that last year and they were like, "We're going to suspend you for like conduct detrimental to the team." I would have done crap like that to Harden and been like, "You know what? You want to act like this? We're going to keep you here for 3 years. You're going to be so unhappy." And then teams
yeah,
and then players are going to be scared to do it. Like, damn, look how he acted. Look what happened to him. They
right.
didn't trade him because he didn't act right.
Well,
Because
the
they
whole
gave
thing,
it's like a
Max.
tantrum. It's like a baby. You throw a tantrum, you get rewarded. That's never going to change anything.
What it is, Max. It's all about this. It's all about the dollar signs. That's all it is. And these players having this leverage as far as like, okay, don't pay me. Still, I have fucking stocks in this and business in that and shoe deals with this and off brands with this and that. Like,
Yeah.
there's all kinds of stuff going on with these superstars. It's not the end of the world for them to sit out.
These guys
It's all
aren't
about a
just
money thing.
players anymore. They're like businesses and they're
Yeah,
self-sustaining and only the lower end ones really depend on their basketball income.
yeah, exactly. Um, Final thoughts on this. I would I would have a lot of respect for KD if he went back to OKC and he tried to win the championship. I know a lot of people are gonna try to flip it another way and be like, "Oh, he's trying to be like LeBron and go back to Cleveland. And why can't you just do your own path?" Fuck that shit, man. Go back to OKC.
Everyone will forget
Go back to
about
the
it
Thunder.
when he wins. That's how it
Exactly.
goes. LeBron was a
Fucking
villain in
shut up.
Miami. They won.
Yeah,
He was loved.
exactly. Shut everyone up. Win a championship. I think it'll be a great story. And I think OKC can put a package together, a real hefty package that the Nets will be satisfied with and get it done. But at the end of the day, I think KD has an ego and KD cares about what other people think. And he doesn't want to do it because he doesn't want to follow like LeBron. He wants to be different. He doesn't want to do it like LeBron, which is so stupid, man. Like,
Does KD start the year on the Nets next year?
no, absolutely not.
I think he will.
I think he gets traded.
I think he
I
will.
think he does. That'll be crazy, man. Does Kyrie start the year with the Nets?
I don't think I have no clue. Couldn't even. Yes, he does.
They just get stuck with Ben Simmons.
Yeah, Benjamins. Let's go.
All right, man. Well, hopefully KD doesn't get traded by the time this pod comes out. All right, and we have to delete this whole conversation.
You know what? Leave
But
it in there. And we'll just do another one, dog.
exactly. But we appreciate you guys listening to us, man. We're really grateful. We love all the feedback, all the support that we get from everyone, man. Even if you listen to podcast for 1 second, 10 seconds, or the whole thing, man. And if you guys made it this far, dude, come on, what are you doing? You might as well hit that subscribe button. If you guys are already subscribed, unsubscribe, resubscribe, and like the video, man. You gotta like the video. It really helps us out. Helps out with the algorithm. It helps out getting our podcasts out there
Yeah.
and a chance to be on the YouTube homepage and being recommended.
We on the
It helps
road
out
to
a lot.
500. We need help.
Yeah, we need help, man. Go ahead, comment down below any thoughts, opinions that you guys have about the free agency or the recent trades. We greatly appreciate it. Audio listeners, shout out to you guys. 5-star rate us. Write a review on Apple iTunes if you guys listen to us on Apple. We greatly appreciate it, man. Max, any last words, my brother?
You said it well. Happy free agency. Happy 5th of July. I'm out.
We out. Peace.